Hi, my name is Ellie, and my group is with Caesar, Brian, and Alexis, and this is our business plan for Compost.Me. Next. So the problem we have at hand is the food waste epidemic. Just in America alone, 30 to 40% of our produce is actually wasted because it ends up in landfills. So this is approximately 133 billion pounds of food. And if you think about it, this is completely wasted potential. We could be using that food to feed families or have this food upcycled somehow. In addition, part of the problem is how poorly educated America is. America has very poor accessibility to sustainable options. A lot of sustainable options are actually more expensive, such as beeswax wraps or like glass Tupperware, which dissuades people from using them because of the cost, or they're just not available at all as a alternative to non-sustainable options. In the surveys my group conducted, we found that 100% of our respondents noted that America is not very sustainable. So this goes to show that a lot of Americans actually do know how unsustainable we are. However, we're very restrained in our ability to do anything about it because the economy does not allow us to. Next. So the solution that we've created is to open compost stations in accessible locations such as grocery stores to introduce composting as a regular and appealing habit for consumers to partake in. The whole point of this is to take all this food that's being wasted and remake it into something else. So these compost stations are for communal use and they're under the business headline of Compost-Me. They're very similar to recycling centers where we would be able to offer a cashback incentive. We would use the waste we collect to create secondary products like fertilizer that we can then brand and sell for additional income. Compost.Me can partner with businesses such as restaurants that produce a lot of biodegradable waste. And we plan to become a household name by engaging the average consumer with our cashback incentive and easy communal access. And then one of our main goals is also to aid in educating people because we want to let them know the impact that they're making when they compost and why composting is so important when it comes to environmental sustainability. Next. For our market overview, we are marketing to families and individuals. All general consumers can make a substantial difference on the environment by lowering their own food waste. But because individuals are somewhat unpredictable when it comes to providing waste, we can't rely solely on individuals to come to these compost stations and submit their food waste. So we predict that a majority of our waste is going to come from partnerships with businesses like restaurants because they produce the most waste. And our last target group would be environmentally conscious consumers that care about making a difference on the environment through their habits. They would be partaking in the compost station simply because they care and not necessarily for the cashback or for any other benefit. And then I'm going to hand it off to Brian.
All right, why now? As food waste continues to grow in major restaurant chains, composting is becoming a crucial solution. It keeps waste out of landfills, reduces harmful emissions, and supports sustainability efforts. With more regulations coming into play and increased pressure on businesses to be more environmentally responsible, now is the time for restaurants to start composting. So the social impact, profits, people, and planet. The profits, Compost.Me will earn money from selling compost and saving on waste disposal costs, making our business both profitable and eco-friendly. People, we'll teach the community about composting and sustainability through educational programs, helping people to understand the benefits of reducing food waste. And then planet, by focusing on composting, we're building a business that's good for the environment and can grow over time. Next. And the management team is Ellie Lim, the CEO, Chief Executive Officer. Her major is business entrepreneurship. Alexis Chanchola is the COO, Chief Operating Officer. His major is also business entrepreneurship. My name is Brian Campbell. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer, also business entrepreneurship. And then Caesar Cordova, the CFO, Chief Financial Officer. His major is business finance and entrepreneurship. And can you go to the next one, please? And the business model, Compost.Me makes composting easy and sustainable. We collect food waste from local businesses, offices, and events and turn it into quality compost. Our main resource, our main resources are the equipment we need for composting, the trucks for collecting waste, and our team who keeps everything running smoothly. We partner with local businesses to gather their food waste and use social media to engage with the community and spread the word. We also need funding to cover our startup costs and a dedicated space to process the compost. By turning waste into something useful, we're not only helping the environment, but also building a profitable, sustainable business. And then I'm going to pass it over to Alexis to talk about the competitive landscape.
And now I want to talk about the competitive landscape. I went ahead and selected our business, a local business known as Orange Compost within Orange County, as well as the big waste management business that is Waste Management. Just wanted to compare and contrast some of the competition in regards to offerings, convenience, pricing, pickup scheduling, and locations. So, Waste Management has been in the business for years and has established itself as the leading organization with trash recycling, composting, electronic and hazard waste being collected, as well as recently their purchase of Stericycle, which handles medical hazards. Um, Compost.Me would have more of an emphasis on compost, and that meaning more residential and commercial emphasis, as well as the same for orange compost. As far as convenience, waste management and ourselves, we align with no contract slash fees. However, one thing we did note was orange compost does charge a subscription, that being $25 a month. For waste management, quotes vary based on the residential or commercial use. Compost.me would be different in the sense that we would have our compost stations established, as well as eventually our own pickup solutions for the businesses we do partner with. So that would be no fees and cash incentives. As far as pickup scheduling, waste management and Compost.Me would eventually reach a point of weekly pickups, as well as the drop-off stations, as we've seen in the compost stations, and having orange compost with just bi-weekly pickups for that 25 a month fee. As far as location, Compost.Me would begin in Orange County and scale from there. Waste management does have the advantage here by already being established as a nationwide presence, and Orange Compost serving as more of a local county composting solution. Next. As for the current status of the business, we're looking into partnerships, that being with local food restaurants, coffee shops, just anything that produces that food waste. We also want to look into the local farmers and nurseries and just kind of dive into there to establish ourselves and build that fertilizer product line as well. And eventually, we do want to partner with Waste Management, if not scale the business to compete with them as well. For our branding and marketing, we will rely heavily on social media and word of mouth, essentially hoping that our presence can be felt throughout like college communities and just any educational endeavors, which leads into our education programs that would hopefully be more established within the school system, and if not in extracurricular activities, as well as stating that we are always doing an eco-friendly approach with our brand and always looking for positive ways to impact the world. As far as our plans for short term, we want to get started on establishing those compost stations in grocery stores. We want to begin hiring for our initial workforce, which will be small at first, but then hope to scale from there. We also want to build those relationships with the local businesses and gain their trust, as well as just be fully transparent with what the company needs and requirements are, and as well as finalize the logo and begin the launch. As far as our plans for long term, we do hope to scale the company to the size of Waste Management, if not larger. And the way Ellie put it is be the brand when it comes to composting and recycling and just any form of waste management. We also want to build that reputation and hopefully one day achieve that. And Caesar, I'll go ahead and let you lead the financial report.
Thank you very much, Alexis. This slide shows us a 3-year financial outlook in our income statement or P&L. As just as reference, for the ones that don't know, the profit and loss statement shows us how profitable a company is in a period of time, starting with the revenues, going to gross profit, operating income, and finally ending as in net income as well. Some of the assumptions we're using for this 3-year projection include cost of goods sold to be set at 30% of sales. Sales and gross profit will increase in a range of 30 to 35% year over year. Operating expenses tend to be mostly fixed, but will increase as our demand increases over time. Interest expense will remain constant until settling the debt funding of $250,000. Scalability, we are projecting to do high investments in advertising operations, property, plant, and equipment as we grow, and research and development. And as you can see in the left-hand side, our forecasted revenue for our first year of operations is projected to be $1.3 million, reaching up to $2.2 million after the third year. Gross profit is going to increase also 30% year over year, starting at $900,000 on year one, and will reach up to $1.5 million in year three. But I guess the most important line item over here is the net income, which will range from around $300,000 on the first year, reaching up to $800,000+ on year three. This net income flows into the balance sheet as retained earnings, which is the amount of money we save, and we do not deliver to our equity holders. And it also flows as a top line of the cash flow statement within the operating activities as well. Then afterwards, we will be delivering to our equity holders later on. But as far as our funding and return on investment section over here, I talked about the investment costs of generating our business over here. And we are going to start with a funding of $250,000 from equity holders or investors that are going to be owners of the company. And we're going to also have a bank loan of $250,000 to fund the business overall. The ownership, as stated previously, equity holders are going to have 50% of ownership until the debt is completely settled. And that the return on investment, as it's emphasized over here, net income will bring over $300,000 to retained earnings and to the cash flow statement. And we plan to deliver 10% of net income as dividends for fiscal year one, reaching up to 30% by fiscal year three to keep our equity holders happy to invest in this company as well. With that being said, that concludes our presentation, and we'll be happy to answer any questions you guys have for us. Thank you.